Hello, friends. This is John Klein III, episode 137 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, the podcast. And today we're going to review Uncanny X-Men Volume 6, Issue 1. So let's get to it. And this is brought to us by writer Gail Simone, artist David Marquez, color artist Matthew Wilson, letterer VC's Clayton Cowles, and a slew of variant covers. The one I'm getting is by Pablo Villalobos, and once I get it, you will see. I'll make a TikTok video once I get the cover. It's the Magic Disco cover, so I'm super excited about it. Also, and TikTok at Jacko SII, and I'm also getting the Scott Koblish four wraparound covers that he did for Uncanny or X-Men 35 uh, Volume 7 and then Volume 8 Issue 1 and then Uncanny, which was also Uncanny 700, and then this Uncanny and then Exceptional X-Men number 1. So he was nice enough to put Kitty Pryde on each of those covers, so she's at least on. So they're gonna look great, and it's gonna make for one amazing image once I put it all together. And it's here, designed by Jay Bolin, assistant editor Martin Biro, associate editor Annalise Biza, editor Tom Brevoort, editor-in-chief C.B. Sabowski, X-Men created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Born with incredible super mutant abilities, mutants have long been prosecuted for their differences. The mutant heroes known as the X-Men were trained by Professor Charles Xavier to use their powers to protect the world that hates and fears them. And if you had any doubts, which I'll admit I had them, about this being the flagship title, like rest assured, this is the flagship title of the X-Men. Not only just because they got a legendary writer and an all-star art team, but just like this is how you flagship. As the issue opens up with Westchester County, New York, formerly Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, before. And we get introduced to Warden Ellis and her top security goon. Oh yeah, Captain Ezra. And she's Dr. Ellis. So I don't know, is it Warren Dr. Ellis or is it Dr. Warren Ellis? Warden, I should say. Warren Ellis is a different fellow. Excalibur legend. And so they are taking over the school, making it into a prison of sorts. Well, I guess for sure a prison. Um, and the mansion's not in as bad disarray as it was when Kate Pryde showed up in issue. Was it X-Men 30? Oh no, 30 for sure. Where she went and showed up in for Ogun's guns and then started laying waste to Orcus. But we find Kitty Pryde's room full of pictures on the wall and her original training uniform nicely framed, which I guess is interesting that she had to wake up and turn her head and see it. But also, there's a very cute plush Lockheed. Um, and you see these images on my Twitter account, Jacko SII. And he looks very different from my Bleacher Lockheed. A little stroudier and tinier wings, but Lockheed nonetheless. And actually, he sort of reminds me of the Joseph Michael Lesnar drawing where he did a Kitty Pryde and Lockheed. So, and so she gives the orders, and so I really like her. Like she's one of those characters, you're supposed to hate and but like, and but she says to just burn all personal effects, and it's like no, even this room, like at least keep the purple dragon. But she knows her X-Men enough that she knows not to keep it. And then she finds Cerebro and considers it a monument to mutantdom and wants it destroyed. And then the first prisoner has arrived, and we are to assume, and they're like on their knees. We see them from the back with a giant beehive-like helmet. So is it Xavier or is Xavier showing up later? We don't know. The cast for this book is Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler. So no Jubilee, and I would have liked Nightcrawler to have been above Wolverine, but I think it's in character appearances. Mexico City, 24 hours ago. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely not in a court. Yeah, because we see Logan first as he's visiting a dying friend. They're having one last drink together. Pyramid of the Sun and Avenue of the Dead. Teddy Silgun by road, 40 minutes from Mexico City. And Rogue narrates, there he is. As Rogue and Gambit, she flies him down to meet Logan, who came on motorcycle. No better the situation. It always feels better, safer when he's around. Maybe that makes no sense, but don't make it less true. He never. And they hug. Just by my imagination, maybe, but for a minute, it felt like he was. No, it can't be. And so they're there to meet the dragon, a giant dragon that we were introduced to, and thanks to Tom Brevoort, being the great editor that he is, provides the um, that we last saw him in Savage Avengers 14 and 16, and his name is Sadorang, the God Snake. And Rogue makes a comment, well, I like this town. I don't want to see it get ate none. Not exactly Lockheed cute, this one. Oh, that has to be Gambit, now that I'm saying it aloud. Well, I like this town. Don't want to see it get ate none. Not exactly Lockheed cute, this one. I guess referencing Lockheed make me think it was Rogue. And then I, I'm gonna say it's Rogue now, being like, I heard he gave Iron Man and some Avengers a rough time a while back, which is the an Avenger. Savage Avengers is when Magic joined the Avengers and got to meet not Conan O'Brien, Conan the Barbarian. I'm sure I'm a small percentage of people who hear the word Conan. No, I bet in this current climate we're in, I bet you say Conan, most people think O'Brien. Anyways, Conan O'Brien, Space Ghost, and Jim Gaffigan were like crucial to like my humor, sense of humor, and so pretty pretty thankful to Conan O'Brien. Um, and so the dragon's is sleeping, and they need something from him. Logan keeps trying to warn them that the dragon eats humans. And already, like, we've seen a Lockheed plush and Lockheed name, and I'm like, this is an amazing issue. Like, I'm already committing to buying the physical copy, and um, but this issue has some highs and lows. Well, I should say emotional highs and lows, as I don't think it has any quality lows. And then the dragon wakes up. You insignificant gnats dare to awaken Sudurang the God Snake. I'll make a paste of you and cook your heads for supper. And it's amazing. Marquez does an amazing job. Wilson does coloring. Like, it's just a top notch. Cowell's lettering is superb. Like, it's just, this is a flagship title. And Rogue narrates, we might have gotten might overconfident here. For once, for one time, I wish I had stopped to think first. Can't argue with that logic. As Gambit's trying to, and Gambit calls Rogue the leader, and Rogue's like, "Who said I was the leader?" Which is just fun, as Gail Simone's been having a fun Twitter campaign about how she won't reveal who the leader is, but with an accompanying Rogue image or GIF. And Rogue saying, "Well, of course you're the leader. Who else would each of us follow, sweetest of hearts?" And it's like, oh, I do love Gambit and Rogue together. I mean, they are Mr. and Mrs. X after all. Can't argue with that logic. I can handle fire, normal fire, but this ain't normal fire at all. And the dragon says, Sadarang is taunting them. Even, I guess he has the ability to see what makes you tick. And so there's the thief, the hunter, and the scared little girl who's afraid of being touched. She's like, what's it doing to me? Even refers to Rogue as being pathetic, and it's like, all right, ridiculous. Logan's had enough time to put on his Wolverine outfit. And she's like, damn it all. I wasn't supposed to break the place. Which always bugs me in movies like Indiana Jones movies where like they go to this ancient temple that survived. And then what row humans have rediscovered it, and before the movie's over, it's going to be crumbling around us. Like, well, that sucks. Okay, try to keep from ruining the nice cultural treasure, Anna Marie. So I guess she does refer to herself as recognizing that that's still her continuity name. She punches the dragon. Logan shows up. Snick, snick. He's like slashing at it. And then finally, Gambit shows up and is taking his eye because, and it's a fun Doctor Strange reference, who was also in Savage Avengers with the Eye of Armagago. And Doctor Strange has one, and the dragon had, and Sadarang had one, but now Gambit has it as he taunts him. And, and so Gambit reestablishes what he wants out of the dragon. And he says, the eye sheared it right out of your proud belly. And you sparked it so much as a match, I plow it right to pieces, yes? Amazing Cajun accent. And Rogue narrates, he knows when to play his cards. This is what I like about my man. And so Gambit makes a deal that Sadarang needs to go to Antarctica for a year. And that also he owes him a boon. And so all the greetings, but Sadarang promises that an ending is coming to them. An ending. Two of you have already cheated death. Do you truly not believe she would present you the bill someday? 1 year hence, thief. I come back for what you owe me. And then Rogue and Gambit start making out. And Rogue's like, this is why when people ask Remy, my sexuality is 100% X-Men. Better turn away, Logan, or don't. Your call. And Logan's agreeing to come with them. She continues to narrate. When I tried to hug him, Logan pulled away, brought back memories of when no one wanted to touch me. Had to be a coincidence, right? And then Rogue gets a phone call from Scott, and then we're just getting further evidence of like why this is the flagship title. As even though X-Men launched first, and it's called X-Men, but this is Uncanny X-Men. Though I recognize the very first issue of X-Men is called X-Men. We get it. We get it. Um, might be, well, you probably know this, but it doesn't become Uncanny X-Men until 142 with the Days of Future Past. And we can't sneak into, not sneak, we're invited into Scott's POV as he's in rural Alaska. Like a border collie, this one ain't never happier than when he's on the job. And Scott's calling Rogue as Nightcrawler called him. And as we'll find out that the X-Men are present, and Rogue was requested by name, and she can't turn the request down, so off they go. But before then, we check into Pacific Northwest, Central Oregon, the Bureau of Land Management, custodial ship as we meet a new mutant, but not a new mutant. Um, Her name's Fawn, who gives me strong nature girl vibes. She has antlers and goat legs, or deer legs, I'm sorry. Clearly her name's Fawn. And of course, Nature Girl is currently Armageddon Girl, so, you know, I can see where she's supposed to be, the good Armageddon Girl again. And these two jerks are hunting her down. They got tasers. And um, her name's Rosa, but they want her real name. And she says her name's Fawn. And then she's crying. And then two big old arms come out of the darkness that are very stretchy with fingers, like Lady Deathstrike fingers. But I don't know. I get the impression it's a giant of a person. And they say, "Come to mommy," which is always creepy, with a no. And we don't know what happens to her. The University of Mississippi Medical Center. Rogue narrates, hospitals don't like them none, especially children's hospitals. And she gives Kurt a big old hug. And she says, "Good to see you, Nightcrawler. Wait, do I call you father?" "I think Kurt, Anna Marie. I miss you all." And so Kurt was invited here to pediatric oncology, and they're here to meet Harvey X, who's a big X-Men fan. Rogue narrates, "I don't correct her. I don't know if there even is X-Men at the moment." But we meet Harvey X, who has a giant-sized X-Men poster. He has a toy Rogue. He has a poster of Rogue, which I think someone found the image and it's a cover to from one of the Outback era issues. Yeah, lots of other figurines, including a Wolverine and Iron Man's there, and I think that's the only ones I can identify. And poor Harvey X is clearly sick, but a big fan though. He's like, oh my god, oh, you came, the X-Men came, Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. And they're all happy to see him. But Logan starts whispering to the doctor, like, "Where's his parents?" He's like, "You better get them here soon, like, real fast." And Rogue narrates, "I admit it, I've been a little bit off kilter since the island." And they're all in their civilian outfits, which I always appreciate when the X-Men are drawn in civilian outfits when they're not, heroing up. But this 12-year-old kid smiled. "That's a cool drink of something better, something pure." And he's like, "Oh my God, you are so hot." Well, he ain't wrong exactly. And Kurt has brought him a Grant Morrison's era jacket, which once again, I will buy myself one of those jackets. And I'm not even a big fan of the color yellow, but I'll wear it out. I mean, I live in Montana for crying out loud. I need a jacket every so often. Um, but I do also want that Cyclops bomber jacket. So I did get, my wife was nice enough for last Christmas, got me a Xavier Institute jacket, but I don't know, it's more like a windbreaker. So, great for the summertime when it's windy, but I wouldn't mind like a winter jacket. And so Harvey X is like, "Yes, yes, thank you." So he has a quiet moment and says, "You're my very favorite." And it's nice that Rogue has favorites. I'm more of a Kitty Pryde type of guy myself, as you know, dear listener. "His hand, it's cold." And Wolverine's like, "Press the blue button, press it." As poor Harvey X goes into a seizure. She's like, "What?" And Logan's getting her out of the room. Like doctors are coming in, X-Men are leaving. And just like so much, just like everything since Krakoa, something nice shows its rot. 10 minutes later, we know because Wolverine knows. First, the arrhythmia, the irregular heartbeat, and then no heartbeat at all. The doctor, she looks. I had a friend once, nurse in a ward like this. She said, There's no quiet on earth like this silence after a child dies. You don't hear the tears, the beeping, the hustle, not even the wailing of grieving parents. You just hear a black emptiness as big as the world. Me? Well, I thought I'll just collapse in on myself for a while. And so it's just a gut punch. Like, Fawn perhaps is dead, but then Harvey X is for sure dead. And it's like, it's just like, ugh, gut punch after gut punch. The parents thank us profusely, thank us for making their child smile. Nightcrawler asks us if he could give last rites, and they agree through tears like rain. I don't remember what he said, but it tore me up pretty good. Most likely was the last rites. And all I could think to do is run. So Kurt's going to stick around. And I don't know if he's back to being a priesthood or is he just, on the short list of favorite characters, which he's on my short list, at number 4 currently. Um, which I should say, speaking of top 4 X-Men, number 3, Emma Frost coming to Fortnite. Um, which I made a couple videos about my locker tour on my YouTube channel, Jackal SII, and blew up Twitter, um, same handle with all the images. So if you want to see images on there, you can see that. But there's a YouTube videos too about the launch trailer and everything. But Walker D is excited about The Incredibles coming, which is Mr. and Mrs. And it's not Frostbite, right? But apparently Incredibles 3 was announced at D23. And then Disney villains are coming to Fortnite. Hook, Cruella de Vil, and Maleficent, which I'm immediately like, I don't care about any of those. So Hook's cool though, but I don't know. If it's not X-Men related, I'm not buying it. But they did announce it, and so Emma Frost is the 4th skin available in it. It starts with Gwenpool. War Machine's there. Doctor Doom is getting the secret skin treatment. Mostly, I imagine, for the reveal late in the game. It starts on Thursday, the 16th, August 16th, in case people are listening to this in the future. Like, when was this? And, oh yeah, there's a Wolverine Peely coming to the shop. No, I'm sorry, coming to the Battle Pass. And then coming to the shop will be Meowscles Tooth or Saber Isles. The internet will tell us who it is. Um, I'm pretty sure it's Peely Veen. Um, which there's still time. I believe they're replaying the D23. If you spend 10 minutes in the map, you get the Peely Veen back bling. If you spend 10 minutes in the map, um, so yeah, so Fortnite's gonna be pretty exciting for season 5, chapter 4. No, I did that backwards. It's chapter 5, season 4. And then the X-Men bundle just showed up with Cyclops, Jubilee, and Colossus. So, but still, Emma Frost in the thing, and she's on the baddie side, but she has an X-Men belt buckle, so clearly she's gonna swap sides at one point. So it's just exciting. We got Emma Frost. So can Kitty Pryde with a Locky back bling and magic be too far behind? And there's no Nightcrawler yet, but there is a skin that has like a guy, like a skater boy, um, who has a option to turn blue with a tail. So I called him Fortnite Nightcrawler, so that's an option. And so Rogue narrates, "We ought to I ought to be used to death instead. I was silent and not fit company. Logan understood. My poor husband did not. Delta Blues slow and sad on the radio most of the way as they're entering Louisiana, keeping Louisiana beautiful. He knows I'm hurt. He wants to fix the unfixable, and it's killing him. And so they're visiting a friend of Gambit's. Oh, Remy, how do you never tell me about this place? And they visit a friend. There are insects in the night welcoming us. No, I'm not thinking straight. Everything hurts. And so they got a nice little campfire going, or just a backyard fire. And Rogue's wondering what even is the future of the X-Men. And Gambit reassures her that she's the leader that he wants. And Rogue says, we could head up north. Cyclops is building something up there, I think. And Logan says, no, he's done with that. And then Rogue says, I'll call Kate. I thought maybe she could come be with us. It didn't go well. And we see Kate, I don't know, this looks like a lot of liquor behind her and not a barista, like a coffee barista. Anna Marie, you aren't listening to me. I don't want to be an X-Men anymore. How do I make that any clearer? Don't call me again. And Rogue's like, no Scott, no Charles, no Kitty. So then it's confusing. Is she Kitty Pryde? Is she Kate Pryde? Like, what are we doing here? How does it all end this way? And so Gambit's reassuring. Logan's asking what she even wants. Then the dam open again, and I hate myself a little for it. Like the dragon was right about me. And Rogue's just like on the verge of tears, like, I don't know what. And then Logan tells them to stop as they hear hoofs. As we meet the outliers, I know their names are on the internet, but I want to say the blonde with the horse, which kudos to Simone for trying to introduce a second horse to this franchise. But that's who I'm going for. There's a lady Jitter who's jittering right now. A guy with um, who's died and has one foot in life, one foot in death, and doesn't understand the world. And another fellow, and we get next Endling. And I'm really hoping that these four are going to try to get. I'm sorry, five. Let's count the horse. Are going to get the X-Men to come rescue them, Fawn from wherever they are. And then we get a preview of upcoming issues. It's always the same with you, isn't it? Watching your most trusting, your most loyal die alone. With replacements sprout up in the ashy soil, the prejudice. Oh yeah, and this is all given a very creepy font. Prejudicer's graves. I know who the pillars of your house are, Charles. Your house of X. I'm going to remove them just to see it all collapse around you. Goodbye, Charles. I love you. And it's Scott and Rogue back to back, shoulder to shoulder, butt to butt. Um, I know, and I guess that guy, the half, um, the crescent on his shirt also has like a mask that reminds me of Wildcat's Griffer. We see Jitter and the dead boy fighting Monet. We see some Prism dog cats coming, and then someone on their knees crying. Not sure who that is. And Gail Simone has written a nice little letter here about just the title itself. So that's to be nice, plugging the other stuff. So it's just a perfect oh yeah, next. From the Ashes continues as Rogue Gamma Wolverine welcome a friend back, just in time to face four uncontrollable and wild mutants in the swamps of Louisiana. For the mutant community disheartened and fractured, what even the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men be enough to stop them? And then it's the X mentions with the bullpen. So there's Wolverine 1, Exceptional X-Men 1, and Dazzler number 1. And so, and you know, being a comic book fan, people are trying to rank them. And so I ranked Uncanny X-Men at number 1, and then X-Force number 2 for that sweet Rachel content. Um, X-Men 1 at 3, And I'm really hoping for more magic content in there. And the preview for issue two is pretty much the magic I was hoping for, like some levity, like Scott's including her in the decisions, and I don't know, just like she's not just a joke character, but she can be humorous. And NYX at 4, and then Phoenix at 5. So, uh, so let's see what other comics came out. Oh yeah, Steve Ditko's being included in the Disney Legends 2024 inductee, so great for him. So let's see what comics came out last week. Oh yes, Avengers 17 came out. Falcon is inviting Storm to be on. Like they need mutant representation, especially after letting Orcus get as out of control as they did, which is awkward, but they got to address it. And Storm agrees to join. So issue 18 should be great. Um, oh, and Wolverine Deep Cut 2 with Mr. Sinister being hinted at, but it was mostly Wolverine versus the Marauders. And he loses one eye, which in issue one he lost both his eyes, so he's, getting a little better at defense, I guess. We do get a flashback to the Mutant Massacre, which we get reminded that Harpoon was aiming for Rogue when Kitty like jumped in the way, and that's when she lost her ability to turn tangible. And and so we get to see Kitty Pryde in that issue. No Lockheed though, so I don't feel compelled to buy a copy of it. But I know we're trying to go to create a Missoula trip um, to see the Muse, which apparently they moved from like a small like house size built, or not even like a small house, but now they're like in a, like a department store. It looked like where or maybe like a like a row of stores, but they got like the corner side, and I don't know, it looks pretty big. So we'll see what it looks like on the inside, but maybe I'll pick up a deep cut too. Why not? And so Uncanny X-Men definitely won its week of comics, and then I probably would put, well, no, I'll put Wolverine Deep Cut 2 over Avengers 17 because it has that sweet Kitty Pryde content that I crave. So let's see what comics come out on Wednesday, August 14th. Um, Wolverine 4, which I'm not the type of guy to read Wolverine. But I like how Aki Hero is Wolverine until issue 3 had Logan saying he would take the spirit of vengeance on, which then looked like he killed his son doing that, so not great. Secret Wars 8 is being reprinted with the black suit, of course. Sensational She-Hulk ends at 10, which is sad, as the Rainbow Royale was doing an amazing job there. Um, Ultraman and the Avengers are crossing over, which that's a thing. Oh yeah, Wolverine, the Logan one, and Infinity Watch is having the. Ugh, I said that horribly. Wolverine Annual 1, which is part of the Infinity Watch annuals, which I took a peek at the Miss Marvel one, and it looked very heavy on Miss Marvel Inhuman stuff. Oh yeah, X Factor 1 launches. I'm excited about it because it has Cecilia Reyes and Frenzy and um, Pharaoh, but also Angel and Havoc, which is like, ugh. And Polaris is in there, which I'm like, get away from them, Polaris. You're so much better. And X-Men 2 comes out, so that should be the leading comic for the week. Um, yeah, because it definitely has magic in it. So, and we're inching our way to Exceptional X-Men 1, which is out early September. So X-Men, X Factor, Wolverine Annual, and Wolverine. So four titles. X-Men should be good, and we'll see what the other ones are like. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I think I plugged everything naturally as it was coming out. Um, oh, I guess the podcast says SNFWM on Instagram and Twitter. And so I said the Fortnite thing. So yeah, that's everything. Oh yeah, so expect a lot of videos from me as I try mainline straight to um Emma Frost as quickly as I can. And then I'm committing right now that I'm going to get all of her super styles and we'll just see what happens. But Kevin Feige is the one who introduced at D23 the Marvel content of Fortnite. So he promises there's a lot more. And the Fantastic Four has been um, all but officially announced to be coming to the item shop. So some people think there's going to be a mini pass, but people are like, there's no way they're putting four characters in a mini pass. Like, clearly, they might do what they did in Ninja Turtles, where there's a big bundle, and then you get their gear in a mini pass. But I don't know, we'll see. Which I guess I gotta think about how we are probably gonna want the mini pass. But I'm pretty much committing. Like, if it's X-Men content, I would do it. But um, but yeah, like I'm willing to. I don't know, like I bought the X-Men bundle, so now I'm just like I think I'm giving them way too much money, but also I'm committed to buying all X-Men characters as I really want Kitty Pryde in there and Magic. And I recognize they probably add Magic before they ever add Kitty Pryde. But Kitty Pryde would be a perfect Battle Pass skin. Like you get three different outfits with her and um I just had a straight thought about imagine they do give Emma a emote that turns her diamond. Like that'd be amazing. As I was just having the thoughts of what are the different styles? Because every skin at least gets two. Um, so maybe Emma would get a diamond style. That's how I would do it. Like you can turn off and on. And so anyway, so that should be this week. So I'll do a I don't know if I can do it Thursday night. It'd be nice if I can, but do a battle pass tour. And I already bought the crew pack, so I can get Gwenpool immediately. So yeah, it should be a great season. So, thanks again, everyone, for listening. You ask a friend to listen and subscribe. Try and get the podcast to grow. If you have an idea of how to promote the podcast, because pretty much all I'm doing is Twitter and then the website and YouTube. I don't know. At one point, I had this dream of, in my heart to hearts, that one day, being on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, the website, like one of these eventually it will cross over to enough where everyone's just like, oh, I should be subscribed on all your things. I'm like, yes, please, I would love that. Because humble brag maybe, but like I have 1,000, like I think it's like 1,200 Twitter followers, and it's like, shoot, if all those people subscribe to me on YouTube, like I can actually start making money on YouTube. And it's like, how do I get people from one to the other? But I'm just, do the work and people eventually find you. And so just doing the work. But because my nephew offered me like to like go to Missoula or promote the podcast. And I'm just like, whoa. And so I was like, well, how would we promote the podcast? And it's like buy ad space, but no, I don't know. It wasn't reassuring. It wasn't a simple like, hey, you have a podcast to promote? Um, I mean, I know showing up on other people's podcasts would be one way to do it, but no one's really knocking on my door to be on there. I put in a request to be on Simply Amazing, so maybe that would kick a door open. But they're interviewing some pretty cool people lately, so I feel like I'm in the queue. Well, no, I'm officially am. Like Lisa and Lauren were sweet enough to be like, "Hey, we got people, as schedule allows." So, and I was like, "Well, we could do like Uncanny Spider-Man," and but I've since had a way better idea. So I sent another email like, we can do this, because I was like, well, why would they want to talk about Uncanny Spider-Man? Except that I want the world to never forget Uncanny Spider-Man. But anyways, we're talking about a whole different podcast. But it's just sharing some dreams. But but if you have a podcast, dear listener, I would be more than happy to be on there. We could do a podcast swap. Um, if that's something you want to do. And I mean, heck, I'll let anyone on it. If you want to be on the podcast, I tested out Zoom with Walker D World, and it seemed like we could do it pretty. Um, Took a little bit to set up, but I thought the test went pretty well. So I would not mind a real world opportunity to do so. So reach out, Jocko SII on pretty much any platform you search that into, but Twitter's the best place to find me. But yeah, the YouTube comments will also work as well. But I guess Twitter offers DM, so at least that's a way to communicate. Anyways, I'm nowhere near great with my exits, but thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.